Hey everyone, welcome to day 5 of the Sunflower Seams Laurel Sew Along. Today is the very last day that we will be at our machine sewing, and I'm really excited to finish up our Laurel either top or dress, and we can get them on our models. Today we are going to be working on steps 53 through 69. First, we are going to tackle our dress skirts. Take your 2 dress skirt pieces and lay them on top of each other with the right sides of the fabric touching. Next, take the short raw edges, these will be your side seams, and sew them together. Finish off with either a zigzag stitch or a serger. You will want to repeat it for the other side seam as well. Once you have done that, you will want to take one of your long raw edges and fold it up 1/4 of an inch and press. Then you will repeat and fold it up 1/2 of an inch and press. This will be creating your hem. Once you have pressed your hem, you will want to top stitch along the folded edge of the hem. Once you have finished your hem, it is now time to make our skirt placket. You are going to want to take your measuring tape or ruler, and from the top raw edge of your skirt in the very center, measure 3 inches. Mark that with a washable marker or pen, and then cut along that line, creating a slit. Now this is going on the back of your skirt, so if you're using material or fabric that needs to indicate which one is the front or the back, you want your placket to go in the back. Turn your skirt right side out with the placket slit still on top. Open your slit up where the right sides of the fabrics are touching. Take your placket piece and lay it on top of your slit with the right sides of the placket piece touching the wrong side of the placket slit. You will want to pin or clip down till you reach the point of the placket slit and then back up. Once again, wrong side of skirt is touching right side of your placket. So once you have done that, you are now going to sew along your pinned or clipped edge at 1/8 seam allowance. Once you reach this point of your slit, you're going to maneuver the fabric so that it doesn't bunch up. Once that line is sewn, you will want to press the skirt and placket seam in towards the placket. Then you'll take the long raw edge of the placket and fold it in 1/2 of an inch, then press. Now you will take the folded edge of your placket and fold it over where it's barely covering the stitch line of the placket and the skirt. You will want to pin or clip. Now you will want to top stitch along the fold of your placket, enclosing the skirt and placket seam. Once you have sewn your placket, you will want to press it. Now, with your placket laying vertically, you will want to fold the left side of your placket up. If you have any leftover placket extending past your skirt, now's the time to cut that off. Now, baste along the top of your placket that is folded over to secure it. Now, you will sew 2 rows of gathering stitches along the top raw edge of your skirt. The first gathering stitch will be 1/4 inch away from the raw edge. The second row of stitches will then be 1/4 of an inch away from the first row. Once your gathering stitches are sewn, you will want to pull your gathering stitches until the skirt is the same width as your bodice. Now, take your skirt and turn it inside out. Put your bodice, that is right side out, inside of your skirt. You will want to start pinning your skirt to the bodice, starting at the back bodice and at the placket. Line up the edge of your placket with the edge of your back bodice. Now that the placket is lined up with the back of your bodice, go ahead and pin or clip that. Now rotate your bodice and your skirt until you reach the side seam of your bodice. Place the side seam of your skirt at the side seam of your bodice and pin. Go to the next side seam and the next skirt side seam and do the same thing, lining them up and placing a pin. And now you will want to line up the opposite side of your placket and the opposite side of your back bodice and pin. At this point, you will want to adjust your gathers and so that they're even across the entire bodice. So here you can see, we know that this is where our side seam needs to be. We know that this is where our skirt should start. And I'll pull these gathers until they're as even as possible. And I'll want to pull my gathering stitches just a little bit until it's the same width. And now I'll move to the next section. And all I'm doing is just making sure that my gathers are even across the front of the bodice, or even across the front of the dress, excuse me. For the front, a lot of times I cut my skirt on the fold and I will have the ever so faint crease that indicated the middle of my skirt, and I will line that up with the front of the bodice. And then adjust my gathers or gathering stitches if needed. And this actually worked out perfectly. And now I'll finish it for the last side. I always start making sure that my gathers are even and my gathering stitches are the correct length for the section that I'm working on, starting on the side that the gathering stitches are secured. That way, whenever I get to the end, I can adjust this as needed, whether I need to make it tighter or looser, and I don't have to redo all my gathers. Now that our gathers are even, it is time to sew the skirt to the bodice. Once your skirt is attached to your bodice, you will want to finish off the bodice and skirt seam with either a serger or a zigzag stitch. Then you will want to top stitch along the seam of the bodice and skirt. Now onto our top. Now we're going to hem our top. First, you will want to take the hem of your top and fold it up 1/4 of an inch and press. Then fold it again 1/2 inch and press. Take note that the wrong sides of the fabric will be touching as you fold and press. Once you press, you will want to top stitch along the folded edge of your hem. You are almost done with your Laurel dress or Laurel's top. All we have left are the finishing touches. If you are creating the dress, you will place 3 buttonholes or snaps on the top bodice. Then you will place coordinating buttons to the buttonholes on the bottom bodice. If you are creating the top, you may need more than 3 buttons or 3 snaps depending on the size that you are doing, but you will place the buttonholes on the part of the placket that is on the top, and then place the buttons on the part of the placket that's on the bottom. For some of my tops, I put the buttons or the snaps just in the placket part, so then the buttons are not exposed, but that's totally your choice. You can have the buttons exposed or not. If you are creating a Laurel for either a baby or a small child, then you will want to secure your tie once you get it tied the way you want it to. And you can do that by sewing through the center of your bow. If you're creating your Laurel for an older child, then that step is totally optional. So you have just completed your Laurel top or your Laurel dress. Tomorrow will be our day 6, which will be catch-up day. If you have missed any of our days this far, that is the time to get caught up. Day 7 will be whenever the flat lays and your modeled shots will be due. And then from there, we'll be able to choose the winner on some really exciting prizes. Thank you so much for joining us for our very first sew along, and I hope you will join us next month.